Hello, fifth graders.
How are you today? I hope you're doing well.
It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful day today at the TV classroom.
It is.
It's
Look at that mountain behind you.
Gorgeous. I wish we were there. That would be nice, wouldn't it?
That would be nice.
Yeah. Mount Rainier is a beautiful place. Before we get going today, let's check in with our zones.
Sure, we can do a zone check-in.
How are you feeling? I think we'll just share for this one. You okay with that?
Yes. Mrs. Wally, how are you
Yellow.
feeling? You're in the yellow zone. Tell us why.
I just have a lot going on and a lot of things happening and decisions being made and unknowns and
That's hard.
I call it limbo land. It's my least favorite place to be.
Yes.
I would rather just know whether it's good or bad. I don't like to not know.
I'm the same way.
And so I'm feeling a little limbo-y today. Well, it's just this afternoon. I was okay this morning, but this afternoon for some reason I'm just having yellow feelings. Oh well. Luckily I can not have big feelings about it and
Yes.
move on.
Yes.
It's okay to be pretty much in any zone but red because you can function in those zones as long as you know how to appropriately handle the feelings,
Yes.
right? It's
Yeah.
when the feeling is big and you're in that zone that it's an issue.
Yes.
So I'm not in a big yellow. I'm like a 2.
Okay.
So I'm okay. I'm not a 4 or a 5 or even a 3, maybe even a 1. But it's definitely in the yellow.
You're aware of it, but you can manage it.
Yes, and I think it's important, especially as you get older, 5th graders, to understand that throughout the day, that fluctuates.
It does.
How are you?
You know what's interesting is I also started the day in the green. I was good to go. I feel like I slept well. But now as we're sliding into the afternoon, I think maybe we've had some conversations about things that are happening both
maybe that's what
personally
it
and
is.
professionally. So we're thinking about it. So it's maybe bringing up some feelings for me of being unsettled.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like maybe my heart's beating a little bit quicker than it otherwise would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yellow zoney.
Yep.
Mr. Kevin, what about you?
So I too am in the yellow zone. And
Interesting.
I know specifically why. One of the other things I do for the district is the annual graduation ceremony. We put them on TV and we put them on YouTube and Facebook. And there's a lot of details because we have 9 graduations
a lot of
coming up.
graduations.
I'm so excited for all those seniors because this year we get to do it live again.
It's exciting.
It's very exciting, but it's causing a yellow zone for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. At least we all know why.
Yes.
And sometimes just knowing why is enough to get you out of the zone.
That's true.
Yeah.
You name it and then you can move on.
We have a fun day today, though,
We do.
which maybe will make me not the yellow zone anymore.
Yeah, give us something exciting to think about. Okay, let's start with our 3 personal standards. Today and every day we agree to
Show respect, make good decisions, and solve problems. One thing that I know is that when I'm in the yellow zone, my words get all jumbled up. And that's happened twice now already. So I need to just slow down. One way we show respect here at the TV classroom is by allowing some time and space to honor our indigenous lands and people for the land that we are on here in the building at the district office.
And we do that by looking outside the window.
Oh,
I'm gonna
Mrs.
invite
Oslin,
you. Yes.
I'm sorry. You put your pack up on the table. Yeah, it's
It's causing
we want to
feedback.
hear your words.
Good?
Thank you.
Okay. No, thank you. Go ahead and take a moment to look outside your window. Look at the sky, look at the trees, look at your surroundings. Our physical space stands on the historical and ancestral land of the Puyallup Tribe of Indians. We acknowledge the Puyallup Tribe of Indians community, their elders, both past and present, as well as future generations. We make this acknowledgement as part of our work to dismantle the ongoing legacies of settler colonialism and unjust treatment. So when we talk about taking the space,
Yes.
so our statement talks about our physical space, but we're also taking the time space.
And our mental space.
And our mental space.
We're taking a moment to pause, to listen, to learn, to think about this group of people in our community that has not felt that their needs have been met necessarily by everybody.
And it's important for us to recognize that it is important for us to pause, acknowledge, and think so we can grow.
Right. And learn how they want to be treated so we can treat them that way.
The platinum rule.
We treat others the way they want to be treated.
It all goes back to that.
It does. Yes, Mr. Kevin?
So I had a thought on this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had some new friends move into the neighborhood and they came over to your house and they said, wow, this is a beautiful house. You know what? We're going to take this house. Oh, and if you want, you can have the back bedroom. It's that kind of a thing, isn't it? That we're talking about?
I think so. That's my current understanding.
Now, our understanding
Yes.
may change.
It may change.
As we research and learn more, but that's my current understanding as well. Or more like you can have this, you can go in the yard.
And it's also important for us to acknowledge what has happened with our Native peoples, but also to recognize that that's not all that is their history.
No.
There's more to their history
so
than
much more.
treaties and reservations.
Correct. They
There's
have a
more-
really rich history of
Yes.
honor and passing down generational understanding and taking care of the land that we've been given and being respectful of the land and the animals and a lot of knowledge that goes along with that.
Yes.
That I am excited to learn about as I learn to lean in
Yes.
and listen more.
I really appreciate, Mr. Kevin, your, not a metaphor, but a simile. It would be like, because that really makes it make more sense to me in context that I can understand. So thank you for that.
So today,
Is exciting because we have been talking all about salmon
right.
for a long time.
We've been studying about their habitat. We've been studying about their life
Life
cycle.
cycle.
We've been studying about their migration patterns. We've been studying about things that are harming them and problems that we have that we need to engineer solutions for. And now we get to watch something really cool today.
Yes, we get to include a video from Julia Berg from Foss Waterway Seaport.
Yep, we
who-
met her earlier in the year.
Yes, we've been to visit a couple times now. And she's been teaching us all about how they raised salmon, and students here in Tacoma got to do some learning and some research to decide where is the best place for these salmon to be released.
Right, and some schools even raise their own salmon.
Yes.
It's pretty amazing.
So we're going to go through it and review our scientific process. We're going to review our essential question, and then we'll see Miss Julia Berg, which I'm
so
very excited. So we have been making lots of observations, asking lots of questions, sharing data and ideas.
Doing a lot of reading.
A lot of reading. After our reading and observations and asking questions, we came up with explanations.
We did.
For what we saw.
And why it's important to have healthy water and healthy foliage and healthy streams and oceans.
We even connected this to the social studies idea behind dams.
Right.
And our opinion around, should we have dams? Should we not have dams?
And there were some conflicting opinions about that.
There was.
Pretty interesting.
Which I really appreciated people pushing on each other's thinking
I did too.
on our flip grid. So, satisfying curiosity, we're going to learn more. Of course, we're going to answer some questions. This is where we talked about solving everyday problems. So dams solve a problem of helping us collect hydroelectrical energy,
But
which
they also create a problem.
they also create a problem.
And sometimes when we think we're fixing a problem, we forget to think about all the perspectives of what we're creating.
Yes.
And don't realize that there may be implications that cause harm, like tires. And trying to preserve them so we don't put as many in the landfills.
Right?
But in the act of preserving the tires so they don't go into the landfills, we're killing our salmon. So it just goes to show that science is always changing.
Yes.
And we have to be flexible with our thinking, and it is super important to discuss with our peers.
Yes, and be open to peer feedback and review, which can be hard, which we've learned here at TV Classroom.
Miss Austin and I are taking some feedback.
Yes.
And we're learning to see it as a gift.
Yes. Even though it hurts a little.
Sometimes, but it's okay.
We acknowledge that, and then
we acknowledge for you that if you work really hard on something and you share it with someone and they give you some feedback, it's like, oh, this part wasn't so good, but maybe it took you 5 hours to do that part. That's gonna hurt a little.
It is.
But you have to move past that and look at their intent and what they're saying and figure out what you can learn from it to make yourself even better, because you can, and it is there.
Yes.
Social emotional learning during salmon release.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Our essential question that we have been learning and talking a lot about is, why are salmon important to the Salish Sea? So we are going to review some of our big science words.
Okay.
No, Mr. Kevin.
Cue Mr. Kevin with the big science word.
Ooh, that's a new one.
Ooh, that is a new one. That's fun.
Interdependent.
When two or more things need each other. The intertidal zone.
That's the shore that's exposed between the low tide and the high tide zone. We experienced that on Mother's Day.
Oh, you did.
What's interesting is that the tide came in. And when the tide came in, all of the mammals that float around, like the seals and the birds and all of those things, came closer to shore, and they were diving and they were fishing for things in the rocks, because the rocks, the creatures were like, oh, the water, I'm coming out, oh no! And they were getting eaten.
Well,
it was interesting.
Circle of life. A habitat is the natural environment. Yes, Mr. Kevin?
I was just going to ask Mrs. Wally to describe what she saw, you saw with the orcas and the relationship to...
This is so important.
Interesting.
Thank you, Mr. Kevin. Yes.
So we were going down to the Point Defiance Marina for Mother's Day. We were just taking a picnic with Oliver to go sit and watch the water. And I checked. I thought, I wonder if the orcas are near. Wouldn't that be cool? So I checked, and they were over by Vashon Island. So we went and we sat and we watched. And pretty soon, way off in the distance, we saw one kind of like jump and do a twirl. We saw it was really far away, but I could see the white coloring and the black. And then we saw some of the blowhole mists come up, and we saw, I think we counted 5 of them were together, like, just traveling through the water. They weren't jumping or anything. We could see their fins up and down in the blowholes. It was so cool. Then we went for a walk along where we did our video earlier in the year on that path, and it was so interesting. There was a family of 5 seals.
Oh.
Not the juvenile seals we normally see there. These were huge seals with big furry whiskers, and they were just kind of like looking around, and they were hugging the shoreline. They were super close to the shore. And I had a wondering, I knew that the orcas that were in Commencement Bay that day were the big transient orcas. And I've been doing research about orcas because Oliver loves them. And one thing I've learned is those are the orcas that eat living mammals like seals, fish, other whales,
Porpoises.
sharks, porpoises. They eat all of the other mammals. They are the apex predator. So these seals that don't normally come to shore and I saw them moving across, coming across to shore. I think that they were staying out of the way of the orcas.
Yeah.
They were fishing and hunting, because they did catch something I saw on the Orca Network that I look at, that they were splashing and they had caught some food, and I think these seals wanted to protect themselves. It was so cool.
That's cool.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a great experience. And I didn't film it. I wish I would have, but we were just spending time as a family.
Yeah.
So,
Sometimes it's important to put the phone down and just enjoy it live.
And that's what we did.
Take a mental picture.
So the whales, do you think they orchestrated that whole situation?
Maybe, Mr. Kevin, maybe. But
I'll be here all week.
Do you think the seal said, "I'll seal you later"?
Oh, Ms. Oslin. That was flapping funny. Sorry, friends. We sometimes have pun jokes. Focus, everybody. We're in the yellow zone. Focus.
Habitat is the natural environment of a plant or animal.
And then we have conservation, which is the act of keeping and protecting from waste, loss, or destruction.
Which is what we are doing when we're raising these salmon.
It is.
And
We're protecting from
releasing
loss.
them into an appropriate place.
Yep. And making sure that that water is safe for them.
So that they are able to migrate.
Which is the act of moving from one region to another. They start in the freshwater, they go to the saltwater, and then they come back to the freshwater.
And that's all included in their ecosystem.
Which is all the habitats that work together to create an environment for the animals.
So that the eggs can incubate.
Okay, so they can keep warm and start the life cycle all over again.
That was pretty neat the way we did that whole flow of
I loved it.
Incorporating all
But
the
the real
words.
question is, what came first, the fish or the egg? That we will never know.
We'll never know. You have learned so much. We have learned so much about salmon. And we are thinking about human impacts on salmon and what we think we know about human impacts and what we want to know.
And we've started to answer some of those questions with the articles about the dams and the water and the videos we've watched.
Yes. And today, you are going to see another example of human impacts on salmon because these salmon were raised by humans. And
human impact isn't always negative.
Exactly. And it's humans, 5th grade humans here in Tacoma, who helped decide where these salmon would be released.
Based on the quality of the water in the spots they had to choose. They looked at what the quality of the water was, they looked at the environment around and what native species or invasive species were there. They looked at the temperature of the water. It was amazing.
It was a lot.
It was a lot of work.
So you are going to watch the video with Julia Berg, and then you can post on Flipgrid, what is the thing you enjoyed the most about the salmon release? Or how many salmon do you think will make it back in order to spawn? Remember the game we played.
So be critical about the estimation you're making.
And all the human impacts that those salmon have to overcome in order to make it back to the streams and rivers where they can spawn.
And create the next generation of salmon.
Now, if you're not comfortable posting on Flipgrid, we understand that. So we provide multiple ways for you to show us what you know in multiple areas for you to post that. So Mr. Kevin's going to tell you 2 other ways that you can send us your thinking.
That's right, 3rd graders, you can send us an email to TV Classroom at tacoma.k12.wa.us or send us something in the mail, like a drawing of a salmon or the life cycle of salmon. Wasn't that fun?
Yes.
Yeah. And then when you send that to us in the mail, the teachers will put that on and show it to everyone.
If you want us to.
If you want us to.
If you want us to keep it private, we'll keep it private.
Yeah. So that's TV Classroom at 601 South 8th Street, Tacoma, Washington, 98405.
Thank you, Mr. Kevin. Now it's time for our affirmation.
I have so many ideas in my head. I'm having a hard time focusing on one.
Maybe I'll suggest one, and if yours aligns with mine,
I love it.
maybe you could revise mine.
I love it.
Okay. I am, I had it.
I can tell we're all in the yellow zone today.
Yes, I was thinking something about, I am aware of my impact on salmon.
How about I'm aware of my impact on the world around me?
There it is. See? Teamwork.
Because it's more than just salmon that we impact. We're just
that's
studying
true.
that part. If you think about that's how we impact salmon, how do we impact everything else?
That's true. Excellent point. Let's all take a deep breath. We need it. And say our affirmation. I am aware of my impact on the world around me. Enjoy the video, and we'll see you back here next time in our TV classroom.
Thanks, friends. See you later.
Good morning, fifth graders. My name is Julia Berg. I'm the Director of Communication and Education here at the Foss Waterway Seaport. So I am so happy to see you all this morning. It seems like people are coming in. And this is our 2021 virtual salmon release. So let's start out with a little bit of drone footage. And this is going to show you what the seaport looks like. So first, it's just water. We are on the waterfront, guys. And I want to, again, welcome all of our live viewers on Facebook and YouTube. And also anybody that's watching this after the fact recorded. You can still check out the comments. So we are in the Balfour Dock building right here on the Thea Foss Waterway, 121 years old. We have some docks that you can come visit if you're a boater. We have our science education program, which is what you're participating in now. We have a maritime history museum, as you can see here, a working boat shop. We're an event center. Really, anything that has to do with the water in Tacoma, we are into it. So right now, I would like to introduce to you Kayla Ariano, who is going to share with you a little bit more about us and introduce you to our salmon.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kayla Ariano, and I am coming to you from the beautiful Foss Waterway Seaport. Foss Waterway Seaport building is 121 years old. It used to store wheat back in the day. Wheat was brought in by rail on the railroads, and then it was shipped out on the other side of the building by sail.
The Foss Waterway Seaport acknowledges that our facility is specifically situated on the traditional homeland of the Puyallup tribe of Indians, past and present. We honor with gratitude the land itself and the Puyallup tribe. This acknowledgement does not take the place of authentic relationships with Indigenous communities, but serves as a first step in honoring the land we are on. We will make intentional efforts to create inclusive and respectful partnerships that honor Indigenous cultures, histories, identities, and socio-political realities. We also have a moral responsibility to fully acknowledge our Indigenous connections, as well as critically reflect on the histories of dispossession and forced removal that have allowed for the growth and survival of our institution. Let us continue to advocate for and partner with our Indigenous neighbors as we continue our lifelong work together as a dynamic and inclusive community.
In case you haven't been here before, I'm going to show you around. This is our touch tank area. Ooh. And this is our classroom exploration area. And look at this cool yearling humpback whale skeleton. These are your coho salmon.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Kayla. So, you guys just got a look, and some of our students that I've watching today have definitely seen them before, but these are our little salmon. So they came from Voight's Creek Hatchery. They are coho salmon, and today we are going to be releasing them in Swan Creek Park. So if you've never been there, that's in the center of the map right here. The Foss Waterway Seaport is kind of just a little bit above where it says that word Tacoma. So I am so excited that we're finally going to be getting to release the salmon. So if you're not a student, then you might not know that these students have been working on this project in various pieces of it since January, learning about ROVs and learning how to explore the Salish Sea. So we've been releasing salmon at the Foss Waterway Seaport here for a number of years, but this year the program got quite a bit bigger as we were invited to work with the Sea Dock Society and some other community partners that you're going to meet in just a minute. So first of all, I'd like to introduce you to Mira Castle, the education coordinator for the Sea Dock Society, and she's going to tell you a little bit more about what we've all been up to.
My name is Mira Lutz Castle. I work with the Sea Dock Society, as in sea doctors. We are scientists, wildlife veterinarians, and a great team of Salish Sea heroes who take actions to help the Salish Sea, our home. Thanks to our hatcheries, our community partners, and even some of you are raising baby coho salmon right now. Here they are, last winter, hatching and wiggling in the water for their very first time. How How cute are they? You could even pick one and give it a name. Write it in your student journal. Your babies need to be released in a coho salmon safe stream this spring. So we have a problem to solve. You can help by determining a safe release site for our coho salmon.
All right, so that was Mira explaining kind of what we've been up to. So we had all of these community partners, and you can see some of them listed on the left there. The Tacoma Nature Center, the Foss Waterway Seaport, Pierce Conservation District, Orcas Love Rain Gardens, in addition to Tacoma Public Schools, Sea Dock Society, and the main funder for this project, Mitsubishi. So it's just been an amazing, amazing experience. So each of the community partners went out to the same spots in the stream, which we call Site 1, Site 2, and Site 3, and did all these tests. And I'm not going to show you all of them because that would take forever, but I wanted to introduce you to each site and show you a little bit of all the hard work that everybody's been doing. So we're going to start with the Pierce Conservation District, who did something really cool, which is called a macro invertebrate survey. And if you have never heard of it, here is Chris to tell you a little bit more. So this is Site 1.
Hi, fifth graders, it's Chris back with you. We're here at Swan Creek again. And for this research component, we're going to be looking at macroinvertebrates. And macroinvertebrates are small creatures that live in streams and lakes and rivers. They often live at the bottom of the streams, clinging to rocks and logs. They're things like insect larvae and crustaceans and worms, and they're important when it comes to salmon. One, they're a food source for young salmon as they're making their way out to Puget Sound in the ocean. And two, they can tell us how clean the water they're living in is. And that's because they can tolerate different levels of pollution. Some are very sensitive and they can't handle dirty, polluted water, while others can handle water as it gets more polluted, more dirty. Your job is to look at the data from each site and based on which macroinvertebrates we find, decide which site is going to be the best release point for your salmon.
So obviously we would have preferred to take students out to the stream and do this in person, hopefully next year, right, students? But instead, we were able to do this virtually. And Pierce Conservation District put together something called a story map, which has all this data in it. So if you're interested in learning more and seeing all the amazing things that came out of this project, we're going to go ahead and drop that link into the comments for you so that you can check that out. So that was macroinvertebrates at Site 1, which is one of the options that the students had to vote on. Now, they already voted, but they don't know who won yet. That's a surprise. That's coming next, okay? So we took a look at macroinvertebrates in Site 1. Okay, so now for Site 2, we're actually going to use what the Foss Waterway Seaport did, which was water quality testing. So I'm going to walk you through that. Then we'll introduce you to Site 3, and then it's time for the release. All right, so almost there, guys. Let's check out Site 2. Okay, so Site 2 is a little bit different. It is a pond, actually, a sediment pond. And if you've ever been to Swan Creek Park, you've probably seen this. It's pretty distinctive right when you walk in from the Pioneer entrance. So it's not too far from Site 1, but it's very different. Site 1 is a stream, and Site 2 is this pond environment with this thick sediment on the bottom. So again, students looked at all kinds of different parameters to try to decide if this would be the best place to release their salmon. So here we are doing some of our tests. This is for dissolved oxygen, which I'm sure you all know fish need to breathe too, right? So it's pretty important that we make sure that the water is cool and clean and clear with plenty of oxygen for fish to breathe. And students were able to look at a meter like this, virtually of course, and see, wow, what great dissolved oxygen at this site. We also tested things like temperature. That's Dr. Jen Conlon, who you'll meet in just a minute. Salmon like the water to be pretty cold. We did things like pH, which I'm sure all of you students have learned about a lot, but you know, it's really important for salmon. There are so many different things that go into making sure that we're putting them in the healthiest spot possible. And then also we were looking at, turbidity. So all of our 5th graders did our brainy briny shrimp projects. And so you guys know about turbidity, and you can put that in the comments if you remember using that little Secchi stick, remember, to figure out how clear the water is. And the water at these sites, all of them, was actually really, really clear. And then we also sent home nitrate strips. And so students were able to try their own water quality testing at home. And if you've never used that before, they look like that. So that is kind of our little introduction there to Site 2, which is the pond site. All right, and now we're gonna move upstream for the very last site, which was way, way upstream, very far away, Site 3. And let's take a look at that. It's pretty different.
Hi everybody, I'm standing here at Site 3, the upper site at Swan Creek. We've measured the riparian area, and though there's not much of a canopy and there's a lot of invasives in it, it does extend 20 meters, 22 meters, and 18 meters until it hits a grassy lawn on the far side. The current survey conditions are we are right next to a road and surrounded by private property, so in order to stay off of that private property, we're actually going to be setting up 2 transect lines. We'll give a moment for the cars. Sites, or quadrats, 1, 2, and 3 will be on 1 transect, and then next to that, 5 meters away, will be quadrats 4, 5, and 6. Go ahead and take a look at your assigned quadrat and fill in your table.
So again, special thanks to all these awesome community partners who took this real science and did it virtually for students so that without ever having to leave home, they could figure out the best place to release their salmon this year. So as you can see, wow, lots and lots of work done by these community partners so that students could do this. And in the end, they voted. So all 35 elementary schools were involved in this project, and they do not know, there I can see them all there on YouTube and Facebook waiting to find out where are we going to release the salmon. So I want to thank you first to all of our students and teachers for all of your hard work with this project. Okay, so it's time for the drum roll. Let's see if I can do a drum roll. Which site are we going to release the salmon? Is it Site 1 with the flowing stream? Is it Site 2 with the pond? Or is it Site 3 way upstream? Let's check it out. Okay, first let's look at these votes that came in. So different community partners had different schools voting on different things. Here's one example: stream complexity and macroinvertebrates. You can see that there is quite a spread because depending on which test you were looking at, the answer was different, right? But when we took it all together and put it all together, this is what we came up with by percentage. Site 1 wins. So that means it's time to introduce you to our stream team, who is actually at Site 1 right now with the salmon. It looks like they're ready. Okay, Jen, I'm going to bring you in. Hi, Jen.
Hi, Julia. We are here at beautiful Swan Creek at Site 1, ready to release some salmon. So I'm going to turn you around and show you everybody who's here with me. We have people from Pierce Conservation and Foss Waterway Seaport. So on my left, I have Phil here operating our underwater ROV. And Chris and his daughter, Austin, Chris is from Pierce Conservation District. Leica and her husband Brandon. Leica's from Pierce Conservation District. They're going to get us our first fish to release. And Jeff is also from Foss Waterway Seaport, our facilities coordinator. Leica and Brandon, would you start pulling some fish while I show them the fish in our bucket? Can you guys see our salmon, our baby salmon? They're ready.
That looks great, Jen.
All right, and I see Leica and Brandon have our first fish ready. We're going to walk down to the stream. I'm going to move you guys. Can I pan around and show you how beautiful?
The video is very clear, Jen, and so is the audio. It looks great.
Great. All right, Brandon is here. I'm going to we have a couple different spots to release, so take it away, Brandon.
All right, so we have a couple of different angles of this. As you see, we have some other cameras because we know it's kind of hard to see. This is all being done with a cell phone, actually, out at the creek. So let me go ahead and show you what that looks like from another angle. We'll just take the stream team out there for a second. And let's take a look at what that looks like from the top. There it goes. The very first salmon. Off you go. So we also have an underwater drone that is going to be recording. So starting with the next one, we'll be able to show you a little bit of footage of that as well. All right, Jen, are you ready for your next one? We're going to go ahead and bring you back in.
We are, hold on, we are here. There's Chris and Austin, and we're ready.
Guys. Oh, I wish I was there, but someone has to be here clicking. I also want to let you know, oh, there it goes. Goodbye, fish. That was awesome. I also want to let you know that we have Leslie, who is on here remotely helping us out on the back end. Okay, let's see if we can get some underwater footage of that. Let's check this out. All right, drone, let's see how you're doing. So you can see the other fish that was released before right there under that stick. Ha, so cute. And in a minute here, we should see the cup start to come from the top, and that second fish, there we go, swim free. The fish are really, really big this year. Oh, it's so cute. I can hear you all screaming over the internet, but I'm just here in the museum by myself, so it's kind of quiet. All right, so that was 2 fish. They are so cute, and they look very happy. All right, so let's bring Jen back in, and let's get ready for our third fish. Who do we have for this one, Jen?
All right, we have my son, Matthew, and his aunt.
Awesome.
They're coming down.
They're coming down. So unfortunately, because of COVID restrictions, obviously we are not allowed to have any students at the stream, but we are really looking forward to hopefully being able to do that next year with all of our 5th graders. So
here they are.
Woo!
And that one's up.
That one is off. Okay, so let's take a look at, I don't know, let's see if we have another angle. And there you can see 2 fish right there. And that third one should be coming in a minute here. Look at them. They're so cute with their little faces. They seem pretty happy there. And if you look around in some of these videos, we should be able to see some of those macroinvertebrates that we were talking about. Okay, there it goes. And come on out of the cup now. There we go. And we are off. Okay. So Jen, are you ready to release your 4th single fish? And then after this, guys, we have a lot of fish to release. So we're going to start doing them in buckets. Well, it's going to be fun. We are back in, and she is going out onto there. She cannot hear us right now. And she has, I don't know how many salmon are in that bucket. Quite a few. Looks like there's a little bit of a glare. Whoa, that's a lot. All right, so she is going to let the ghost go. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful day. And we also have some footage of what this might look like underwater, because it is, again, very hard to see from the top. But there they go. They're free. Okay, let's take a look at what that looks like. Ooh, I think I see some macroinvertebrates crawling along on the bottom there. Oh, and here comes the bucket. And that is a lot of fish. And out they go, looking so happy and cute. The underwater drone that we're using, if anyone's wondering, is called a Trident, made by So Far Ocean, and it's owned by a nonprofit, another nonprofit that's letting us borrow it. And there they go, swimming off to be with the other fish. They kind of went over towards where the other ones were. Okay, and then we're going to need to move our drone to a second location because we're going to now move a little bit farther down the log. So while they're doing that, I wanted to talk a little bit about, well, first of all, I wanted to check and see if we have any questions. So let me click over. Have you guys put any questions in the comments? Mostly just everybody saying hello. All right, well, if you have any questions about what's happening, you can put them in the comments and I will answer them. I don't think any of them are really bigger than each other. We've been feeding them 4 times a day, which has been really exciting. And what I will share with you is, so these are hatchery salmon. They came from Voight's Creek Hatchery, right? So when they are released from the hatchery, I'm wondering if anybody knows, how do you tell the difference between a hatchery fish and a regular wild salmon? Just by looking at it, there's a way. If any of you like to go out and go fishing, you can, there is a way that you can tell. So what type of salmon did you release? These are coho or silver salmon. So we released a few singles and some larger ones in a bucket. Yes. Chop de fin, that is correct, green squirrel. And I'm just going to show you a short video that we got to take that's going to explain a little bit about what that means. So let me go ahead and share that with you while we are waiting for them to move things around.
My name's Grant Lee. I'm with the Northwest Indian Fisheries Commission. Right now we are adipose clipping all the hatchery Chinook. There's about a little over 1 million probably Chinook to get through. These are just the raceways all the Chinook are kept in. So this is our fish pump, and then this will pump them up into here. So they end up in there. So they'll all try and fight to get into this little corner. Fish comes in. It gets to the end, it trips a sensor, it'll a set of padded clamps will close down on it, and it arches that fish's back. And we have to sort them by length because hopefully that adipose fin will be in that window. And it'll take a before picture, clip the fin, and then take an after picture. This was run pretty well, you might not see an error, but if it leaves a little too much of the fin, it'll fail it, and it'll get kicked into a bucket, and those will get done by hand also.
Adipose fin clipping is part of a 2-step process that helps scientists and fisheries identify and distinguish between wild salmon and hatchery salmon. The other half of the process involves the injection of a small piece of wire with a unique numerical identification code on it. The tags are so small, you actually need a special scope just to see the numbers on them.
We'll pump them into the trailer, and they'll run through our machines, they'll get counted, measured, and get their adipose fin clipped off. And then they'll go into these 2 nature spawns here. So there'll be 500,000 probably in this spawn, and 500,000 in the next spawn. Well, these are Clark's Creek stock, so they just get released from here and they come right back. These fish here will return here in 4 to 5 years.
These specialty trailers have really streamlined the process of tagging salmon for release.
gets into the music. So a couple of questions came in from there. Does clipping the adipose fin hurt the fish? So I was actually out there when we made that video at the tagging trailer, and no, they actually seem to tolerate it really well. That's why they do it when they're so small. And also it looks like Leslie is answering some of the other questions in there about what it's like keeping our salmon in a tank. So keep those coming. And Stream Team, I am going to bring you back in. It looks like we are ready to release another bucket. Hi, guys. Hi, Phil. He can't hear me,
Hi,
of course.
Phil. You want to wave, Phil? All right, Phil's ready with a bucket. This is our last bucket of fish we're going to do upstream, and then we're going to move on and do a few downstream of the log.
Ooh, that's a great view, yeah. There they go. Be free.
All right, and we can keep right on going. We have another bucket ready with Jeff,
Perfect.
Who's ready to go. He's going to go downstream. So that's this log here. We're moving downstream of that log, and we're going to release over here in the downstream section.
And those logs are really interesting. At one point, scientists thought that salmon needed really clear streams. And so there was a movement where they were taking all the logs out of the streams a long time ago so that it would be clear for the salmon to go up. But that turned out to be not such a great idea because salmon need resting pools. So these days, we're putting the logs back in the streams. And you can see that here, called the restoration log. And so, because normally, naturally, right, there would be a few fallen logs here and there. So that creates these really great pools and places for the salmon to rest. And it looks like, who do we have there? Is that Jeff?
This is Jeff.
Ooh, right
here
into
he's going right into that stream, get some running water.
Off they go. All right, that's awesome.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff. And I think we have one.
Leica ready with the last
bucket.
And we're going to try to put that over where we have our underwater drone again.
Perfect. And we'll show some footage of that. And this is it. This is the last one. Oh my gosh. Now, these are in such a good spot. I imagine if you head down to Swan Creek, you know, maybe with your family, you might be able to maybe see some of these guys hanging out, because we were releasing, how many fish are we at, Jen, releasing? 98, is that right?
94.
94. All right, I'm going to take myself out for a second. Awesome. And there they go. Okay, now I have a couple of other views of that last one. So I'm going to go ahead and share those with you. So this is the above from a different camera. And again, these are our very last fish for the day. And then let's take a look. This is the underwater footage from below the log there. So you can see we've moved the drone into a different spot. And whoa, look at those in the bottom. Anybody see those macroinvertebrates right down there at the bottom? Who studied macroinvertebrates? Anybody know what those are? We will go out to the stream team, but to me, they look like katydids. Okay, so in a minute, you are going to see the bucket coming in. Here it comes. Ooh, there they go. Ooh, they're fast. Oh, and they're off. And they are out of there. Oh, they're so cute. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. And there they go. They are off. Oh, there's another macroinvertebrate. Oh, they're back. Oh, they're gone. Well, everybody, I think that is it. Oh, nope, there's another one. I think that is the very end of our salmon release. So thank you to all of our students and all of our teachers, and I also want to briefly, I want to thank a lot more people, but first, Mira, who had a really big part in this from Sea Doc Society, she has a special message for you before we go. So I'm going to go ahead and play that for you.
To you and the Seaport team, your babies are swimming wild and free for the first time in their lives today. Who knows, your salmon may even end up as a meal for a baby killer whale in a few years. And you have just become Salish Sea heroes. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mira. And it has just been so wonderful working with all of these community partners that I've mentioned before. I want to thank our funders. I want to thank our salmon volunteers. Also, Westrock, who sponsored our live salmon cam this year. And I'm going to bring the stream team back in for a minute in case so that they can say goodbye to you before we sign off.
Oh, saying goodbye.
All right. Oh. You want to say everybody want to wave goodbye? Bye. Goodbye, stream team. Good work. They thought they were done.
Where's everybody?
Where's everybody? There you go. Bye. Bye, Sam. Can you guys still see any in the stream? Or do they pretty much go off and hide?
Yeah, we can see a couple.
Yeah, they're still hanging out? All right. Well, maybe we'll head down there later. That's okay. All right. So I just want to, my biggest thank you goes out to all the teachers and administrators at all these schools. It has been a difficult year for everyone, and we are so happy to still be bringing hands-on science education to these schools with the help of all these amazing partners and funders. And we'll be here for you next year when we continue on in the new normal. So see you next year, and thanks again. Have a great day. Bye.
Hi kids, welcome to Food Fight. Now, I think we can all agree that ice cream is pretty delicious, but if you eat too much ice cream, it's not very healthy for your body. You know what is healthy? Fruit. In this exercise video, we will be working on building our cardiorespiratory endurance, which is our heart and our lungs. We're gonna try to avoid all the ice cream obstacles, and we're gonna try to grab as much fruit as we can. Make it to the end and grab the star fruit. Have fun! Food fight! Let's go! Food fight! Food fight, come on! Food fight! Alright kids, in the final level, you need to grab as much fresh fruit as you can, dodge the mini ice cream trucks, dodge the ice cream, and make it to the star fruit. Good luck! Food fight! Nice job, everyone.